Night Hudson says, overall, do you think the show was fair in its representations of everyone? Yeah, I think mostly yes. If there was like a specific person that anybody had like a question about, I could definitely answer that specifically. But mostly, it's very accurate.
First off, I just have to say congratulations to Gwen because she just received her silver play button for reaching 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is a major accomplishment, so kudos to you, Gwen. She also just went to the Taylor Swift concert last night, so many good things happening right now. Gwen really seems to be living her best life, and really there's nothing that the children of the Brown family deserve more than to be thriving. Something else I love to see is Gwen's inner petty coming out little by little throughout more of her reaction commentary. I am so here for it. If you have been following Gwen's reaction journey and her commentary over on her YouTube channel or her Patreon, you know that she is famously pretty diplomatic and measured in what she says and how she reacts. By and large, she is extremely respectful and she affords all the parents, especially Kody and Robyn, a lot of grace. But in this latest upload, there is some sass coming out, and I just love that for her. Gwen got the most real that I have ever seen her in her most recent video about her dad's offensive on-screen behavior. We need to jump into today's video. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome to my new setup. I am still getting things situated, still playing with lighting, still getting things where I want them to be, but this by and large is my new setup. So Gwen's latest reaction video was to season 17, episode 13, titled Coronapocalypse. And it is the episode that is chocked full with a lot of emotion. We have Kody forgetting Gabe's birthday. It's where Kody takes Janelle out to Fat Olives and he is extremely aggressive towards her. And then, of course, we see Robyn get admitted to the ER. The subtle shade thrown by Gwen in just her facial reactions is so satisfying to watch. And she said pretty much what we've all been thinking regarding Kody and Robyn's dance with death.
It's so wild to me to think about that, like, she's here, like, suffering in a hospital and she pulls out the camera. I don't even know if I'm, like, intuitive enough to, like, think about the intricacies of pulling out a camera while you're dying, but it really is, it's very surveillance state to me. It's wild. It's ironic that I'm saying this on a camera while watching a TV show about my life that's filmed on cameras. But it's weird to me that specifically when she's sick, she pulls out the camera.
Look, I have no doubt that Kody and Robyn felt extremely crappy. At this point, I think a lot of us have gotten the dreaded Rona. And while it's not that bad for some, for others, it really could knock you on your ass. So this is not to say that we don't believe that they were feeling super crappy, but a bunch of us did take notice about Robyn's ability to still be able to film herself whilst in this brush with death. I think by and large, it was a shared curiosity by viewers. I know it was talked about a lot on social media when the episode aired. So it was validating to see that Gwen was also perplexed by this. And like I said before, this Coronapocalypse episode was the episode we see Kody forget Gabe's birthday. I will say one thing that I wish Gwen addressed in this video was the fact that her and Gabe were literally raised as twins, called the twins when they were growing up because they are born 4 days apart. Additionally, Robyn's birthday is the same week as them, so they have quite the birthday activity happening just in that 1 week in October. It seems like forgetting one of their birthdays during this week would have to be almost intentional. One of my cousin's sons was born on my birthday, and my other cousin, his son, was born the day after my birthday. Every year when they are wishing their sons a happy birthday, they also wish me a happy birthday because it's like impossible to forget. So I don't really understand how Gabe's birthday could just slip his mind because he is not forgetting Robyn's birthday. This was an episode that viewers and followers of Gwen have highly anticipated her reaction to because so much emotional things happened in this episode. And she did not hold back in her answers to the questions that were submitted. I already played Gwen's answer to when she was asked if she thought that everyone was being accurately depicted, and I think her answer is really telling, especially for this episode. The next question Gwen answered was about how well she and Kody get along.
Then another general question, Mitzi says, how do you and your dad get along? He seems like he only cares about Robyn and her kids. Do you feel that way, or is it just the TV edit that makes it look like that? Congratulations on your engagement. Thank you, Mitzi. So my dad and I don't get along the best. We did for a second there before I started watching the show, and like seeing how he was behaving towards my mother and stuff, but not as much anymore, and not as much before that either. So no. Do you feel it seems like he only cares? Yeah, it seems like that to me too. We talk about that a lot, that it's all about Robyn and her kids in the family. So yes, unfortunately.
Gwen confirms that watching the show has absolutely impacted her relationship with her dad. She says that there was a point in time where the relationship was in an amiable place, but she said that that changed once she started watching the show and even a little bit before that. I would have to imagine that just simply having a public reaction to the episodes is not going to go over well with Kody. Even though, like I've said multiple times, I think Gwen has been more than fair and gracious and generous towards Robyn and Kody in her commentary. Apparently, it is talked about a lot amongst the family members that don't live in Robyn's house that it's quite clear the favoritism that takes place between Kody and Robyn and members of her household. Gwen then takes a very similar question in which she discusses Kody's favoritism, his outbursts, and her overall viewpoint of him.
Then Den Brown says, in this episode, we see more of your father's outbursts, emotional attachments to Robyn and her children, to seeing the favoritism, straight up unwillingness to remember the birthday of his child, change the viewpoint of your father that you have. In a sense, doesn't taint your feelings towards Kody. Sorry, this is kind of a repeat of the last question, in a way. It doesn't change my viewpoint. This is how he is. This is how he just is to me. Sometimes his behavior in the show makes me dislike him more. Oh, here's one point. During this episode, weirdly enough, I started feeling a little bit of sympathy towards him and like positive feelings, and like my thoughts were a little more positive than usual, which I don't know why. Maybe like something happened in the episode. But yeah, that was a little peculiar to me. I was like, I'm being unusually nice.
She actually says that during this episode, there were points in time where she found herself feeling sorry for her dad, but that overall watching the show has not changed her viewpoint of her father. Then Gwen answers what I have to imagine would have been an extremely uncomfortable question for her to answer, so kudos to her for answering it.
Chelsea R says, as a viewer, seeing Gabe be so vulnerable on camera was just heartbreaking. Then a scene after that, we see your dad crying over not seeing Aurora for 10 days. Knowing he's gone significantly longer without seeing many of his other kids, how did that feel watching that as one of his kids, particularly one who he went long periods of time without seeing? Rude. It felt offensive to me because I don't know, I've never seen or felt that he ever felt like sad about not being able to see me for a long period of time. It felt detached and unreal to me because it just felt different, because I've known him for longer and he's been in my life longer than he's been in Robyn or any of her kids' lives, and it's like, and so is Gabe, and it's like, it's weird because how can you so easily push aside somebody with that much history and like just treat them as second? It's weird. It's just weird to me.
So in this episode, Kody can be seen coming to tears over not seeing Aurora for 10 days. When in the exact same episode, we see Gabe absolutely devastated that he can't even get a happy birthday from his dad. And all of the other kids that don't live in Robyn's house have not seen their dad in months, closer to the better part of a year. Gwen says that this felt offensive to her. Gwen has a cheery disposition, but really listen to the words that she says. I think it speaks a lot. This has to cut deep to watch. Gwen says that she never felt like her father ever got upset over not seeing her for long periods of time. And 10 days is quite literally a week and a half, and Aurora was in the basement. She wasn't off in some remote area that didn't have cell coverage. She also wonders out loud how her dad can so easily push her or Gabe aside when they have so much history and have known him literally so much longer than Robyn and her 3 oldest kids. Then someone asked Gwen where Kody stands with his relationship with his kids that don't live in Robyn's house.
Jen said, are Gabe, Garrison, and Kody still estranged, and has that affected his relationship with other children who side with them? Yes, actually most of us are pretty much estranged. The majority of Janelle's kids are completely estranged from Kody. Definitely some of mine and most of the siblings in general.
I think this is the least surprising answer, but it's incredibly disappointing nonetheless. Kody is pretty much estranged from every single child that doesn't live in Robyn's McMansion. It's pathetic, just absolutely pathetic. Gwen then fields a question regarding Kody's temper tantrums.
Cha says, your dad has had many temper tantrums this season. How does it make you feel to see how he yells at your mothers? Are you surprised by his season behavior? It doesn't make me feel any different. This is just how my dad acts to me. Honestly, it feels like he has these moments quite often. Nothing unusual to me.
Gwen says that this is nothing unusual for her. And just speaking to Kody on the off chance that maybe he sees this clip, I doubt he will. But from one parent to another, this is just real fucking pathetic, dude. There is a lot about raising kids that is hard, but loving your kids and being there for them and just being evolved enough as a human being to be able to coexist with your kids that might disagree with you or challenge you, that is not hard. It's your job, and it is the only job you have that will ever matter. Another great question that Gwen answers is in regards to this disconnect there is between how Robyn and Kody say Robyn was treated when she came into the family and what we see in those early seasons of the show.
Don R. Dad mentioned that when Robyn came into the picture, she was treated so poorly by the other wives. As a viewer, it never appeared that way in the first 15 seasons. Robyn was treated kindly. Has everyone called him out for believing Robyn's pathological lies that she has been feeding to your dad to make him honestly believe she was treated so badly? I have a feeling the wives never treated her as bad as she said. I honestly agree with that. I feel like it never really happened. From my memory especially, it seemed like in the situation, Robyn was just one of the wives. If there's been any weird animosity, it's not because we've been mistreating Robyn. It's because she's been victimizing herself or mistreating us. Please correct me if I am wrong, because everyone reminded him it's all recorded. He can easily watch how Robyn was treated versus what Robyn is saying. It's really funny to think about that because we're all like, we've seen this, there's evidence. But no, not really. He surrounds himself with people who has the same beliefs as him, so he doesn't really get the chance to, in my opinion, receive opposing feedback.
Gwen says it's quite the opposite of what Robyn and Kody describe. It's more like Robyn was always victimizing herself, or she was the one that was actually mistreating them. As viewers, I think we all pretty much gathered that. At the end of her taking questions, Gwen makes the very astute observation that Kody only surrounds himself with people that think like him. So he really never has to listen to opposing feedback. I guess that is one way to go through life. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about Gwen's latest reaction video, so let me know down in the comments. I am just living for the subtle shade and sass that is coming through in some of her answers. I am so sad to hear that Kody's relationship with all of his kids have not improved at all, it seems. But I am glad that the kids, along with Janelle, Mary, and Christine, are surrounding themselves with people that value their presence simply for being themselves. Found families are absolutely real families. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Reality Squad, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.